Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another video here on Ty Drives. My name is Ty, behind the camera as always, and this is the 2022 Volkswagen Passat Limited Edition. So this is kind of the final model year for the Passat in the USA, at least for their foreseeable future. So they came out with a little limited edition with some extra special features for the Passat for the 22 model year, and we're going to check out all those features starting on the exterior, move forward and see what's under the hood, then we'll pop the trunk, see what's going on for storage space, and then we'll make our way onto the interior, starting with the rear seats and moving forward to the front seats. You're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video, because I'm going to strap this GoPro to my head and we're going to take this Passat for a drive. Special thanks to Valenti Volkswagen of Watertown, Connecticut for providing the car in today's video. And this Passat will come with full LED headlights, so high beams, low beams, daytime running lights are all LED, and they also swivel when you turn the steering wheel, which is pretty cool. Very nice prominent front grille with lots of chrome accenting. You also get parking sensors that run the span of the front bumper as well as the rear, so that's pretty cool with the limited edition. Taking a look up at the hood, we have some pretty cool creases going down towards the side and some more subtle ones towards the center to make a pretty cool shape. And we have special wheels. So these wheels are only found on the limited edition Passat, and they're pretty cool. They're 18-inch wheels with lots of spokes, very luxurious sort of looking wheels with the machined face and the painted pockets. Also a pretty cool lug nut cover too there, and the front tires measure 235/45. Up top we have a sunroof and shark fin antenna. Have limited badging on both the fenders. Black painted mirror caps, which are pretty cool, which has the LED turn signal indicators and blind spot warning. We also get smart key entry on both the front door handles. And here's our window sticker here, which will display some of our fuel economy figures from the EPA. Crash test ratings and parts content are down there, and all of the detailed pricing for this car here as well. Back here we get the same wheel and tire setup, and you could really tell that this is a very nice color in the sun. This is the platinum gray metallic. Now back here on the rear, we also get the same LED treatment. So taillights, turn signals, everything, sort of brake lights and everything are all LED powered. We have reflectors down below and some chrome on the bottom of the bumper, and you can also see the parking sensors as well. We have Passat spelled out across the deck lid, and a trunk release and the reversing camera under there too. So yeah, this is kind of the last hoorah for the Passat in the United States, like I said, for the foreseeable future. What do you guys think of the design of this car? I think they did some pretty good stuff with these new wheels on the limited edition. Popping the hood on the Passat, we have one engine choice available, and it is of course a version of Volkswagen's 2-liter turbocharged inline 4. In this application it produces 174 horsepower, 206 pound-feet of torque, so it's a pretty good amount of power for this application here. Comes hooked up to a 6-speed automatic transmission, torque converted of course, and exclusively front wheel drive. Now taking a look around the engine bay, it's pretty tidy, and you also still have an engine oil dipstick, and your engine oil filter is right there, so super easy access stuff for that in that respect. We also have the battery up front, and as you can see, your air intake system and everything. There's a pretty tidy engine bay up here. Now once you get the hood up, there is a prop that you need to mount up there, and there's also a hood latch right here. So really the reason why you get the Passat over the Jetta is just a little bit more room as far as cargo space and interior volume, and that definitely shows in the Passat. So once you pop the trunk open, a pretty wide opening, and then just take a look at how much room is in there. You can also fold the rear seats with these little pull tabs to each side, and that'll fold them down 60/40. This car also comes with some accessories that are worth pointing out. You have the cargo net, roadside assistance kit, first aid kit, and the wheel locks back here. It's all carpeted, and then once you lift up the floor, you of course have your tools and spare tires. When you're ready to close the trunk, you just grab under here or under here and close the trunk right on down. At this point, we can start checking out the interior, starting with the rear cabin. Very large rear doors going along with the mid-size sedan size. And we have some pretty cool sort of mimicked wood accents, really good colors in that wood. We also have soft touch and leatherette armrests right there, so where your arm's gonna rest is gonna be nice and soft. We also get a 9-speaker Fender audio system in this car, so that's pretty awesome. Bottle holder and storage. Now the seats have this very nice, soft, supple, real leather, and it's sort of a leather that I've never seen before in a Volkswagen. It's just very, very high quality feeling. You have some same color and contrast stitching on the seats as well. And you also have a center armrest, which you can fold down. See, this car is brand new. It still has the covering on it. Peel that off. You see we have cup holders. You can either fold that down for an armrest or have a third person sit in the rear. Once we get back here, look at how much legroom we have. So there's a lot of legroom. And I am 5'10", and I adjusted this seat already to a normal driving position for myself. So again, take a look at that. So much legroom back here, and there's also quite a bit of room width-wise. So again, you can fit somebody in the center, even though there's a little bit of a drivetrain hump back here. You have air vents as well as heated seats and USB chargers for the rear passengers. Map pockets on both the rear of the front seats. Then we also have lighting up here too, grab handles, and just a really good amount of space back here. Alright. Of course, very solid sounding doors, and at this point we could check out the front. Obviously same design as up front, just a few more buttons. We have that nice looking faux wood, the unlock, lock, and the heated mirror controls right up there. And then we also have the window controls and a trunk release right below that. A little bit more storage on the bottom of the door, and again, soft to the touch armrests. On the left of the dash, we have an air vent, also our lighting controls and gauge dimmer. And we also get a pretty decently sized little storage area there to put whatever you like. You can also see the handle for the tilt telescoping steering wheel. And down here we have our pedals, pretty nice looking gas and brake pedals too, and a hood release right over here. Again, very nice quality to the leather on these seats. And we also have these little tags that say Volkswagen Chattanooga since 2011, and that is where the Passats have been made since 2011. And it's only on limited edition you get those cool little tags, so that's pretty neat. 3-person memory, 2-way lumbar. Let's hop in and check out the rest of the interior. So here's the key you get with the Passat, And this key fob has been around for years and years on the Volkswagen lineup, but hey, why change something if it works well? But it's pretty basic key fob. You have the Volkswagen on the back, panic alarm on the side, switchblade key, lock, unlock, remote start, and trunk release. So that's pretty cool. And of course, this car has the push button start. Just put your foot on the brake and press the button. And at this point, we could talk about the steering wheel. So it's completely leather wrapped. You have some stitching on the inside, which is very nice. And you have sort of two sets of controls. So the ones on this side have to do with your adaptive cruise control. So you have the set the distance right over here and turn it on and off right up top. And then you also have your audio volume and skipping between your different tracks or radio stations over there. And the rest of this has to do with your media controls and the small screen in the center of the gauge cluster. So we have back and forth and then up and down and OK for that little screen, and then Bluetooth telephone and your voice commands as well. Behind the steering wheel, we have a couple of stalks. So this one has the turn signals, high beams, and the ability to change to turn on and off various assistance systems up in the center. So that's pretty cool. You can kind of go up and down and check or uncheck in the center there. And then we also have a stalk for the wipers, of course. We have a pretty simplistic gauge cluster up here, so very easy to read, no crazy digital things going on here. We just pretty much have the large tach and temperature gauge and large speedometer and fuel gauge. And again, we use these buttons here to control what goes on in the screen. So right now it's kind of showing us our fuel range, and if we go down, we have some different trip settings, real-time digital speedometer, and various different things like a speed warning you could set up, and current consumption, average consumption, things like that. And you can also go back and forth to the driver's assistance screen here, and I'll show you what's going on. We also have the phone screen and all of the different assistance screens as well. We could also go through some settings if you'd like. You can set up snow tires and everything, and kind of back to the regular sort of MFI screen here with the various trip information and things like that. So pretty simplistic screen up there in the gauges. Really nothing special, but again, it keeps to the sort of Passat roots of being just a functional daily driver. Nice upper dash with some stitching, and it's all soft touch. And I really like the design of the dashboard. So it kind of brings the modern design with the older technology. So this is definitely a car for a certain group of people that sort of like that design and mix of technology in there. We have a couple of air vents up top with the hazards button. We can also turn on our screen and radio here. So that's pretty nice. A little bit of a smaller screen, but it definitely has a good amount of functionality to it. This is your radio screen. You have the presets in the center, sources off to over here, stations list, and then sort of a tune. And you can use this knob to tune the radio. We have our media screen, which has to do with the Bluetooth and phone calls and everything like that. We have a quick voice commands button. We also have the nav button if you purchased it. And then we also have our app connect with it. As you can see, it has to do with the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. We'll quickly get to our sound settings here. And we also have a phone screen. So various different things you can go through on this screen here. Kind of repeats of what the buttons are over here, but some various other things as well. Sound setting and then sort of your main settings. So yeah, pretty simple screen, but it's of course very functional as well. Taking a look down below, we have a nice dual zone climate control system here. And it's pretty easy to get used to. So you pretty much have temperatures to either side, your defrost, AC settings over here, and then your fan speed in the center. We of course have heated seats for both the front passengers and rear passengers at that. And then where you want the air to blow are these three buttons right here. and you're recirculating. Take a look down below. We have a little storage cubby, a 12-volt power outlet, and USB connections down there. Again, as I said earlier, 6-speed torque converter transmission. We put it into reverse, our parking sensors activate, and so does our parking camera. We have neutral, drive, and of course a manual shifting mode down here, and then a sport mode, which is pretty neat. Just a few buttons down here, but a couple of blanks to the other side. We have a button here to activate your parking sensors. As you can see, they pop up in a pretty nice diagram up there. And we also have another button here to turn on the sort of parallel parking assist. So that's pretty cool if that car has this. Down here we have a nice silver panel. I'm really glad that there's not a lot of gloss black in this car, which keeps the fingerprints away. And the cup holders have a pretty neat pattern down below. It almost looks like a map of the Chattanooga factory, which is pretty cool. Manual parking brake, of course, always nice to see that. Little pouch over here to put change or something small. We also have a pretty nice armrest that you can lift up. There's a pretty good amount of storage in there too. Over here you have a lockable glove box with a pretty good amount of space, and you also have a shelf system so you can put more things up top like your owner's manual. We have a frameless auto dimming garage door home link and compass mirror up there. And your center stack sort of houses the rest of your controls, such as lighting, more lighting, and your sunroof controls up there. Various SOS and information buttons up there, and your sunglass holder. We open the sunroof, you get a pretty good amount of light in. And to tilt, you just press the button up like so. And to slide, you kind of just circle it around like so. And that will open the sunroof and also close it. A couple other things worth mentioning: the sun visors. Once you open them up, they have a mirror and light, and also a card holder, and also extend to cover light up here. And you also have a grab handle as well. All right, that pretty much does it for the features of this vehicle. Very simplistic yet functional. Let's get this thing out on the road and see how it drives. All right, so driving the last Passat. Now, I haven't really heard of any plans of a new generation Passat coming to the United States, which is kind of saddening. But there definitely is still a market for a mid-size sedan. You know, there's lots of Camrys, lots of Accords still on the road. And Passat's done pretty well for Volkswagen, at least in my opinion. And I don't see why they wouldn't come out with another one. But this is a very traditional car. You know, if you buy a Passat, you're kind of the person that likes to sit down with your family and have dinner all together at once and everything like that. It's just what these cars remind me of, at least. Good turning circle there. But throughout this drive, I'm going to sort of start out on the sort of a 2-lane highway. We'll get up 45, 50 miles an hour, see what it's like at those speeds. We'll also get it up to sort of a back road. We'll test out the acceleration, handling, and also the ride quality, which is sort of more important in this segment of car. You know, more comfort based than sort of sporty. So 2-liter turbo is pretty quiet in this car. You barely ever hear it unless you're kind of getting on the accelerator there. And so far the transmission is doing a very nice job. You kind of get a sense of a little bit of an old school sedan drive, you know, more with a 6-speed transmission rather than the 7, 8, 9, even 10-speed transmissions that we have today. So this is an old school car to drive in a sense. Not that that's a bad thing or anything. I actually think it's more smooth with a 6-speed transmission rather than that, you know, as I said before, 8, 9, 10 speed transmissions. You know, it's just seems like a more smooth powertrain. As you can see in the gauge cluster, when the lane keep assist is active, it lights up in the instrument cluster. And it'll turn yellow once I start getting outside of the lane. And once you do that, it'll sort of steer you back in. It's not a jerky feel, it's just kind of a gentle, you got to get back over in your lane. And up at 45, almost 50 miles an hour, this car is comfy, I can tell you that right now. It's quiet, comfortable, not a lot of tire noise, not a lot of wind noise. And at this point, we're going to turn onto the back road and test out our acceleration. So we're going to get up to about 25 and sort of mash the throttle and see what happens. So yeah, not bad at all. At 174 horsepower, goes a pretty long way. But what's more impressive is that 206 pound-feet of torque. You know, that's kind of what gets you going. So it's not a fast car by any means, but it's definitely got enough horsepower to merge onto the highway, enough for passing power and things like that. And the mid-range is really where this car makes its power. That's very true with a lot of Volkswagens and most German cars, in fact. Sort of the 2,000 to 3,000, maybe 2,000 to 4,000 RPM range is really where you're going to feel the most horsepower and torque at one time. So it's definitely a really good car for mid-range power. Seats are also very, very comfortable, at least on this short trip that we've had so far. There's plenty of thigh support as it comes, although it's not adjustable. There is plenty as it comes. There's also a pretty good amount of side support too for your back, so you're not sliding all around in the corners. Very quiet and smooth going over the bumps. You don't get a lot of tire noise from you know, when you hit these bumps, so that's good. It's just an overall pretty enjoyable driving experience. You know, it's nothing crazy, but it's also nothing that you should be turned away by, I guess. I could probably think of a better word for that, but it's not coming to me right now. This car also doesn't have the start-stop system, so when you come to a light or a stoplight, it doesn't shut down on you, and I really don't see a button for it, and I don't think this car has it, which is kind of a plus in my opinion. You know, it's the first thing I do when I get in a car is press that button, because you know, in some cases it'll wear out your starter, and it's just kind of annoying, to me at least. You know, it does definitely save fuel. You know, on my car at least, when I had my Jetta, you know, I did a little experiment. I had it on for a week and I shut it off for a week, and I definitely did save some fuel, without a doubt. So taking it around the little quarters here, you're of course going to have some body roll because this is a very comfort-oriented car. Now we have a pretty rough section of the road here. It's really soaking up the bumps pretty nicely. We don't have oversized wheels, so that doesn't play a factor in any discomfort. You know, the 18s are a really good size for this car. Yeah, very, very comfortable suspension setup on this car. Just kind of closed my mouth for a while so that you could listen to how quiet it is in here. So another thing I like to point out is with this lane keeping assist, it's really pretty subtle. You know, you just feel a very small tug in the steering wheel to say you got to get back over. I mean, some systems are really aggressive with it, but this one does a very nice job. It's gentle. Yeah, this car has a really good mid-range power to it. Definitely feels adequate for this class. You know, a lot of cars in this class come with a 1.5 or 1.4, just small turbocharged motors, which doesn't give you a lot off the line. So, you know, as you notice, you're coming to a stop sign, and those cars, you know, you'll have a little bit of a lag to it. But since we're already starting out with a 2-liter, it's a little bit of a bigger motor, and it doesn't have to rely on the turbocharger so much to get it going. So that's definitely a plus with this powertrain. Now, of course, the competition offers, you know, more powerful engines. You know, some are 2-liter turbos like this is, a little bit more powerful than this is, but they do offer things like that. Whereas this is a sort of toned down 2-liter, but it's right from the get-go when it comes standard. All right, so wrap-up thoughts for the 2022 Passat. You know, it's definitely showing its age. They had quite a few updates over the years of this generation in its production cycle, and you could tell that the design is a lot better than what it was when they first came out, of course. But of course, it is starting to lack a little bit in technology, and it's just not quite up to par with its competitors. However, I can say that the build quality in this vehicle and the driving experience too is perfectly on par, if not better than its competitors. So that's definitely a plus if you're looking at one of these. And it's just a very traditional mid-size sedan. So probably the most traditional one that's still on sale today. You know, if that's what you're looking for in a car, this is the perfect car for you. So to round out the video, I hope you have enjoyed the 22 Passat just as much as I have, and I'm very sad to see it go, but hopefully we'll see a replacement for it sometime in the future. But make sure to stay with us here at Tide Drives for more videos just like this one.